Wahida, this morning we'll of course be coming back to Elaine because I asked her something. Elaine, do you know a few things about sports? She's like, just a little. Kidogo too. Kidogo, there you have it. So I'll quickly hand it over to you and then we can start that conversation.
One thing I know that she must know is about athletics. Jamaica, Kenya, huge athletics powerhouses.
Very big, yes.
And you may not know that we have two champions right here in studio.
Wow.
And when they run against Jamaicans can't see them. I can tell you for free. We're joined by Honorable Wesley Korir, who is a Cheragani Member of Parliament and also the former Boston Marathon champion. He's here next to me, and of course a bit further from me we have none other than Wilson Kipsang, former world record holder in the marathon, and of course he tells me he wants that title back. And he's also here with a different hat. He's the president of the Professional Athletes Association of Kenya. Karibu, gentlemen.
Thank you, thank you.
I can of course start with Mr. Kipsang here as the president of PAC. What does PAC do? Maybe we can kick off that way.
Yeah, I think first I can start by saying PAC is an association for athletes. It was basically formed in the year 2013. That is when I can really say that this is the voice of athletes. Athletes of this country decided to form and unite, that they can really get an opportunity to hear their views. Because from the past you find that there has been no time that athletes of this country come together, have one voice and try to articulate on issues affecting them. So PAC basically started and as a way of uniting all athletes all over the country, and that is why we really came up and formed this association. It was basically registered on February 7th, 2013. So from there then athletes have been in a position to unite all over the country. We have officials all over the country, and we can now try as much as we can to save the sport. I can really say that this association came to save the sport.
That is the role, to save the sport.
Yes.
That's something interesting you've said, because the sport finds itself in a rather difficult situation. Now, about a year ago, Kenya, and surprisingly also Jamaica at that time, but Jamaica seems to have escaped that noose, found themselves on a sort of a doping list. Now, Kenya seems in trouble with this. We've been told we have until April 15th to get our house in order, or we may be possibly declared non-compliant. Now, we have a clip of an interview that was held about a week ago on the Cheche show. And the discussion was about what sort of mistakes has been made on the road to where we are right now. We have the first clip. Maybe we can just see that, a comment by our Sports Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Hassan Wario.
Major problems with federations is people staying there for 30 years, 40 years.
And those coming
without proper structures, without putting the proper structures, with very little transparency within this. And there's a point at which you stop government intervention. For instance, Nike deals doesn't pass through any government agency. We don't know, it's shrouded in secrecy, everything is done behind us. What we are asking for, and we're asking for that through the registrar, we need federations like AK to open all their doors so that Kenyans know what is coming in and what is going out and how much has been spent and so on and so forth.
Sports Cabinet Secretary Dr. Hassan Wario made those strong statements on Cheche. Mheshimiwa, your take, is he right about Athletics Kenya?
I think he's he's partially right and partially wrong. I think where we are as a sport is a cumulative of mistakes that has been done from both the government and the AK as a federation. I think I agree with him on the issue of overstaying in the office. That one is very key. But also the government should have helped change the constitution of AK. I think the constitution of AK is broke, and we know that it has been broke for so many years, and it needs a very strong reform to change. But also the government, there are parts that the government has failed to play. We are in this place right now, in this position as athletics, as athletes of this country, because of the failures of the government.
Should the government have made, and by that I'm talking about the Sports Cabinet Secretary, should those comments have been made on TV, or should those comments have been made via phone call from the Sports Ministry to Athletics Kenya? Is it right to, I guess, bring the issues to the public when I can call Kipsang and tell him, Kipsang, kuna shida hapa?
Yeah, I think what the Sports Ministry should have done is find solution. Don't become a crybaby. Right? You come here and you cry about what you could have done. So what they should have done is brought a forum between the two, right, and discuss these things. Okay, people are staying in office for long. What can we do?
How do we fix that?
How do we fix that instead of coming to
Let me hold you on that note because we have a second clip. This was a response of Athletics Kenya President, retired Lieutenant General Tuwei, because during that interview he found himself on the back end taking a lot of flack for what has happened in athletics over the last couple of years, and this is what he had to say in their defense.
I think maybe we will not come here to accuse each other. Because I remember two and a half years ago, we went to the CS as Athletics Kenya.
Yeah.
And we wrote a letter. Okay, unfortunately I don't have it here. A very detailed letter about the problems that Athletics Kenya is facing.
Which
and
one?
what? Sorry.
What problem?
Problems of doping, and suggestions of how to go about having the support of the government to come into the doping issues. It is there.
Tuwei there blaming the government, saying that we went to the sports ministry, we spoke with them, but nothing happened after that. Wilson,
yeah, I think my take on that is that if you try to see for sure for a very long time, there's been a very big disconnect between athletes, AK and the government. And it has been for a very long time, because if you try to see even the current constitution that AK is using, it doesn't conform to the Kenyan Constitution 2010. We have a new Sports Act 2013-2014, it doesn't conform. And the government is just sitting there watching a federation manning athletics using a wrong constitution. So if you try to see, you find that from the past, if you try to see a federation whereby like 4 guys, executives, has been
sitting in the same seats
for a very long time, and from the recent past allocations, you find that 4 guys in an executive sent to pave way for investigation, you find that that one shows there has been a very big problem, which should be addressed very quick. And athletes have been in a position to really see it very far.
I can see Kirigo getting ready for some sports questions with Elaine, and I'll be coming over to her in just a bit. Mheshimiwa, April 15th is looming. Do you think, have you had an idea of what Kenya's recently constituted ADAC are doing, and are you confident that Kenya will be at the Olympics? Wilson is looking at me funny. I don't know whether he's not quite sure what's going on with that process.
I think all of us wants to be in the Olympics. I think myself wants to go to Olympics. Wilson wants to go to the Olympics. All Kenyans want to see us competing in the Olympics.
Are we going to go to the Olympics?
It's the only place. The question is, yeah, I like that question. Are we going to go to the Olympics? The way the government is doing, no. The way we are going right now, no. If we follow the government route, we're not going.
But the government has allocated a total of 500 million Kenya shillings. 300 already has been dispatched. They've created a team led by a competent man. You're still not confident?
I'm not confident because the start of it already is wrong. Okay, last year we as a SPAC wrote to AK. We wrote to the ministry about the anti-doping issues and about the doping campaign we had started.
Yeah.
The person that was there that wrote us a letter really negatively is the same guy that has been paid to run ADAC. To me, we are already starting on the wrong foot because we are putting somebody that is already negative to the process of cleaning up the sport. And second of all is the time is taking for them to formulate and formalize this ADAC thing. Last year, I've been singing about this song from last year.
Yeah, I've been on Twitter as well. I see you make quite a few statements in regards to that.
Last year I walked out of a meeting, a budget meeting with the PS, because they allocated zero amount of money to anti-doping. This year, I tell you what, they are not even allocating enough. 500 million is not enough to set up a body that will run doping, out of competition doping in this country.
Last question before I hand over. How much money do we need?
I think we need more, like $1 billion shillings.
Like at least $1 billion
shillings to fix this menace. But also we need to hurry. We need to bring the bill. I brought the bill. The bill right now is in my bill. We have 2 bills. That's the problem here. We have 2 bills.
More confusion.
More confusion because...
I'll hold you on that. Kirigo, I don't know if Jamaica can help us because we are having a problem here. April 15th deadline. We need to fix our house in order because we need medals at the Olympics, and Jamaica want to take them from us.
Alain just told me something very interesting, and I think you need to confirm for me this. Have we at any one time beaten them in the number of medals we have picked with Kenya and Jamaica?
Where were they at the World Athletics Championship?
We
beat them. In fact, Mheshimiwa, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So
we beat you. Just to tell you, we beat you. You won.
I know. I am man would be no. I were runners. I was like, true?
We're top of the world. The only thing we haven't conquered are the shorter races, the sprints, and we are working on them.
But it will not happen.
Well, there you have it from the Jamaican.
There's someone named Usain Bolt who is alive, and I think as long as
he will
alive,
retire.
But what we're doing is we're bringing Usain Bolt to train our people.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
together we'll just win.
Yes, absolutely.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Let me tell you something about Elaine. Okay,
thank you for that. Even as we wind up, I wish I had more time with these two gentlemen, just even to know which races they're planning on running in this year, and what they've got their sights set on. But two things I want to touch on real quick: corruption, the constitution, and the way forward. Mheshimiwa, let's talk a bit about corruption in athletics and how it's led us to where we are right now.
I think corruption is what is killing this country. I think in every sector, everywhere, we in politics, in government, in athletics, Kenya.
And I know we'll need to have you back when they talk about what's happening in politics.
Oh yeah, bring me back. Yeah. But I think corruption is what is killing this country. We need to fight corruption. And we as PAC, and we as athletes, we have said we are not going to sit back and see corruption kill our sport. We are going to fight. We're going to fight with all the means possible, and we are working with IAAF. The good thing is IAAF is an international body which oversees AK, and we are going to, every single time we have suspicion of corruption. We don't have to prove you're corrupt. Suspicion of corruption, you're out.
You send a message to IAAF, they ban that person while investigations are going on, and that will happen. What would you like changed about the constitution? You've said it's old, it's broke, you know, words like those. What needs to be changed for it to become...
Yeah, what I want really to be changed mostly, if you try to look at the Kenya constitution, you find that one is that athletes are not given a chance to vote. We don't vote. So you find that leaders are there, you don't vote them, and you find that in many cases that is why they remain in power for a very long time. That one should be changed, which will allow athletes to vote their leaders and also given an opportunity, because if you try to see those who have been there for a very long time, many of them are not athletes. And in this country we have athletes who have went to school, they have knowledge, and you find that even as an athlete, for example like me, there's a world record holder, you find that that one is like PhD. You understand more
about the
yes.
They say the wearer of the shoe is the one who feels when it's pinching.
So those who are there, sometimes you find that it is just administration. But when it comes to addressing issues affecting athletes, athletes have been having a lot of problems. And you find that many people in Kenya, we have not been in a position to protect the brand. That is the athlete. When we win, nobody knows what you do every day until you win that medal.
They don't know the journey behind your
We just celebrate as a country, okay, thank you guys, you have run very well. The athletes Kenya guys is our athlete, but we don't protect that brand.
I noticed Elaine really shaking her head even as you're making those sentiments. Maybe it's a similar situation for athletes in Jamaica. Mheshimiwa, as we wind up, way forward, how do we get out of this hole that we've dug ourselves into?
I think way forward, really, I think as I was telling Kipsang and I was telling athletes, is for us to take this thing upon ourselves, to make sure that, because we will be the one affected.
As the
I don't think Wario will be affected because he just sits in his office with a tie. I don't think AK chairman will be affected because they don't feel the pinch, right? Yeah. So what we need is to take first of all action on our ends and realize what can we do as ourselves. We have brought the bill. We are talking with WADA to make sure that the bill is compliant, and then also we need to tell one thing to AK, to the ministry. A bill does not have to be perfect before it's brought to the House.
Yes.
There's a third reading whereby you bring amendment. So during the first couple of readings, then you bring stakeholders. That's what we're doing with our bill. We are bringing it. Tomorrow I'll be appearing before the committee of the whole, the committee to speak about the bill, and then we move it while we are engaging the WADA and see which part of the bill needs to be amended, and then during the third reading we bring the amendments and then we pass this thing.
Gentlemen, I feel like we needed so much more time to discuss this. What we'll do, of course, we'll do another interview after this. We'll have snippets of that interview in our 1 o'clock and subsequent bulletins. So, of course, keep it here. We'll have more from these two gentlemen as we look into the issues, because Kenya needs to fix its athletics house now. There's no other time. We've gone too far right now, and that needs to be sorted. Well, can you go over to you, hopefully with some better news, a bit of sad news here in terms of our athletics, but we trust that we shall rise again.
Hey, that's right.
I like that enthusiasm.